The year 2024 will forever be etched in the memories of Israelis and Lebanese alike. It marks the year their shared border, already scarred by decades of conflict, erupted once again into violence. This new chapter in the Israel-Lebanon conflict, more brutal and devastating than any before, has sent shockwaves across the globe. The human cost of this war is immeasurable, with thousands dead, countless injured, and millions displaced from their homes. The international community has been left reeling, struggling to find a way to end the bloodshed and broker a lasting peace. But with both sides entrenched in their positions, and with the conflict increasingly drawing in regional and global powers, a solution seems as elusive as ever. We will delve into the historical context, the events that led to the current crisis, and the key players involved. To understand the present conflict, one must first delve into the tangled history of Israel and Lebanon. Their relationship has been marred by mistrust, violence, and missed opportunities for peace. The seeds of this conflict were sown even before Israel's creation in 1948, fueled by territorial disputes and ideological clashes. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War saw an influx of Palestinian refugees into Lebanon, further complicating the dynamics. Over the decades, Lebanon became a battleground for various factions, with Palestinian militants using it as a base for operations against Israel. The 1982 Israeli invasion of Lebanon and the subsequent occupation further exacerbated tensions. The 2006 Lebanon War, triggered by Hezbollah's capture of Israeli soldiers, brought immense destruction to Lebanon and further solidified the group's image as a formidable fighting force. The relative calm that followed the 2006 war proved to be deceptive, a mere lull before the storm. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, fueled by a complex web of factors: unresolved territorial disputes, Hezbollah's growing military capabilities, and the shifting geopolitical landscape in the Middle East. The Syrian civil war, which erupted in 2011, added another layer of complexity. Hezbollah's involvement in the Syrian conflict, fighting alongside the Assad regime, raised concerns in Israel, which viewed it as a growing threat. Cross-border incidents and skirmishes became increasingly common, with each side accusing the other of violating the ceasefire. The situation escalated dramatically in October 2023, when a series of events pushed the region to the brink. Hezbollah launched a barrage of rockets into Israel, targeting both military and civilian infrastructure. The year 2024 has been a year of relentless violence, marked by a series of deadly escalations and failed attempts at a ceasefire. The conflict, characterized by its intensity and brutality, has left neither side unscathed. Hezbollah, armed with a sophisticated arsenal of rockets and missiles, demonstrated an unprecedented ability to strike deep into Israeli territory, targeting strategic infrastructure and population centers. Israel, for its part, unleashed the full might of its military, conducting relentless airstrikes and artillery bombardments on targets across Lebanon. Civilian infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and residential areas, were not spared, leading to widespread condemnation from international organizations. Diplomatic efforts to broker a ceasefire faltered repeatedly, with each side blaming the other for the impasse. Beyond the geopolitical complexities and military strategies lies the heart-wrenching human cost of the conflict. The war has inflicted unimaginable suffering on both Israelis and Lebanese, leaving behind a trail of death, displacement, and despair. Thousands of innocent civilians have lost their lives in the crossfire. Families have been torn apart, their homes reduced to rubble. The physical and psychological scars of this conflict will likely haunt generations to come. The relentless bombardment has crippled Lebanon's infrastructure, leaving millions without access to basic necessities like food, water, and electricity. The conflict has also triggered a massive displacement crisis, with hundreds of thousands of Lebanese fleeing their homes in search of safety. The 2024 Israel-Lebanon conflict has sent shockwaves across the globe, eliciting a mix of condemnation, concern, and calls for restraint from the international community. However, translating words into concrete action has proven challenging, as the conflict has exposed deep divisions within the international community. The United Nations Security Council, tasked with maintaining international peace and security, has found itself largely paralyzed. Repeated attempts to pass a resolution calling for a ceasefire have been met with vetoes from permanent members, highlighting the geopolitical complexities at play. The United States, a staunch ally of Israel, has been criticized for its perceived reluctance to pressure Israel to end its military offensive. Russia, on the other hand, has emerged as a vocal critic of Israel's actions, accusing it of using disproportionate force and targeting civilian infrastructure. The 2024 Israel-Lebanon conflict is not simply a bilateral affair. It is a complex web of interconnected conflicts and competing interests, with regional and global powers playing influential roles. Understanding the motivations and actions of these key actors is crucial to comprehending the dynamics of the conflict. Israel, driven by security concerns and a history of conflict with Hezbollah, views the group's growing military capabilities as an existential threat. It justifies its military offensive as a necessary measure to degrade Hezbollah's arsenal and deter future attacks. Hezbollah, for its part, frames its actions as resistance against Israeli aggression and occupation. Iran, Hezbollah's main backer, plays a crucial role in arming and supporting the group. Tehran views Hezbollah as a vital ally in its regional power struggle with Israel and the United States. The United States, while primarily focused on containing Iran's influence in the region, also seeks to prevent the conflict from escalating into a wider regional war. As the conflict enters its second year, predicting its trajectory remains a daunting task. The situation is fluid, with numerous internal and external factors influencing its course. Nevertheless, analyzing potential outcomes can help us understand the stakes involved and the challenges ahead. One possible scenario is a protracted stalemate. Both sides, despite suffering heavy losses, remain entrenched in their positions, unwilling to back down. Another possibility is a negotiated ceasefire, brokered by international mediators. Such a scenario would likely involve concessions from both sides, including a commitment to end hostilities, a mechanism for addressing underlying issues, and international guarantees to ensure compliance. A less desirable outcome is a regional escalation. Finally, there is always the hope, however slim, of a breakthrough towards a lasting peace agreement. Amidst the devastation and despair, it is easy to lose sight of the path to peace. However, history teaches us that even the most intractable conflicts can be resolved through dialogue and diplomacy. While the road to peace is long and arduous, it remains the only viable option. The first step towards ending the violence is an immediate and unconditional ceasefire. Both sides must agree to lay down their arms and return to the negotiating table. International pressure, particularly from key stakeholders like the United States, will be crucial in bringing the warring parties to the table. Once a ceasefire is in place, the focus must shift to addressing the underlying issues that fuel the conflict. Dialogue must not be limited to political leaders. Civil society organizations, religious leaders, and ordinary citizens from both sides have a crucial role to play in fostering understanding, reconciliation, and a shared vision for the future. As I stand here, amidst the ruins of what was once a vibrant and bustling city, it is hard not to feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the destruction and the immense human suffering that this conflict has wrought. The images of shattered lives and broken dreams will forever be etched in my memory. Yet, even in the darkest of times, we must cling to hope. Hope for a future where Israelis and Lebanese can live together in peace, free from the scourge of violence and bloodshed. Hope for a future where children on both sides of the border can grow up without fear, knowing that their lives are valued and their dreams are within reach. The path to peace will be long and arduous, fraught with challenges and setbacks, but it is a journey that we must undertake for the sake of present and future generations. Let us choose dialogue over destruction, reconciliation over revenge, and hope over despair.